Right, we've been busy during the break. You may have noticed there's a large model in front of me, and we will look at this in a minute. This is the model of the proposed $60 million whitewater facility in Manukau. It's making waves, certainly. If it goes ahead, it'll be capable of hosting international sporting events, but the plans have come under fire from the council. Joining us now is Richard Jeffrey, CEO of the trust that runs the Pacific Events Centre. And we hope to be joined very shortly on the phone by Councillor Dick Quacks. We do have to apologise for not having him in the studio this morning. His taxis were mucked up, but we'll have him on the phone shortly. Let's start with you then, Richard. You better give us a little stroll around this proposed facility. This here is the current event centre. If you've driven down the southern motorway from Auckland south, you will have seen this. It's on your right, and it's a very prominent, very lovely event centre.
Yep, this is the event centre. We've been open for 4 years now, so it's pretty much the town hall for the south. The rest of the project is a 9-year project. The outrigger on the building here, on the Waka, is a conference centre, so that's one phase. The first phase, though, is the kayak course. You'll see 2 courses, one on the outside for recreational rafting,
which is
around the outside, and also for international kayaking, World Cups, etc. And then we've got a smaller course on the inside for our schools program, so we'll get about 15,000 kids a year through that. The next phase then is the outreach gallery with an artist in residence program. Again, just down this end, again for our schools, etc. The middle building is exhibition space, cultural retail, a little cafe and some offices. And then the next building is the actual kayak centre, so that's where the rafts will be stored and the kayaks, etc.
And we can point out at this point that it's going to be run by Ian Ferguson.
Yeah, but just the same way we have a caterer running, they paid for the kitchens and run our big banquets. Ian will pay for the fit out, and he'll manage the kayak course, because we don't know anything about kayaking. We know the business model. We've looked at it very thoroughly and benchmarked it overseas, but Ian's...
But you've got to have your experts to run it. OK, well, thanks for showing us around. This is by no means a done deal, though. You need $60 million to build this. That's a lot of money. When you consider that the upgrade of Eden Park to host the World Cup final rugby is about 190 million.
Yeah, definitely, and it'll only be used for one event. This will be used every day of the week. We'll have our school kids going through it. It'll be a tourist attraction. Why we went with this project is our vision for the site has always been to create the heart for the south, but a destination as well. And we don't have enough destinations tourist-wise in the Auckland region. So the one in Penrith that's been operating successfully pays its own way, that the council built there back in 2000 for the Olympics. It actually attracts about 110,000 people a year to the site.
When you say it's likely to be used every day, then you see this very differently as a money-making proposition.
Yeah, what we see is that it can do... It's the same as any sports. It can do the high-end elite sports, but we'll be running it the same way we run the event centre, where we're a community trust. Any commercial revenues go back into making it accessible for our school kids. Yeah.
Right, but you expect it to make a profit?
Yeah, definitely.
So why are ratepayers going to have to come up with $40 million?
Yep.
You've pledged $20 million. You're going to raise that yourself?
We'll raise 20, just like we did with the event centre. Look, the event centre cost $50 million, to put it into context. Council gave us 21. We raised $28 million. So, instead of how we do things in Manukau is we start up community trusts instead of the council writing out the cheque for everything. So, to put it into context, our Tier Square redevelopment, to fix up the car park's $80 million. Now, $40 million is a lot of money, and that's why we've put it out into the public. We've had 17,000 submissions come back supporting the project. Now, again, 17,000 submissions. The Royal Commission only got 3,500 submissions from the whole Auckland region. So the community want the project. Let's
hear from somebody now that doesn't agree with you. We've got Dick Quacks on the phone. Good morning, Dick.
Yes, good morning.
I'm sorry about the taxi mix-up. Forgive us for that.
That's quite all right.
Why are you so opposed to this project?
Look, I'm not opposed to the project per se, and I'm not opposed to white rafting. And what I am opposed to is the idea that a private project, and this is all private good, this is not public good, should be funded by the council. And let me put a couple of things straight. Richard is saying, for example, that it's only going to cost each ratepayer 48 cents per week per ratepayer. Well, that's based on a 20-year funding scenario. That's based, and if you take into account the financing of that, it's not going to be $40 million. It's actually going to be $74.8 million over 20 years, or $3.74 million for 20 years. So it's not it's not even $40 million if you take in Richard's funding scenario. And so I'm not against whitewater rafting, but what I am against is some of the poorest people in the country being asked to pay for something which they will not use. Now, let me turn to the 17,000 signatures that Richard has got, and I think that's wonderful that he's managed to go out there and his troops have been all over the place, outside schools and so forth, getting signatures. And what I would say to him, Richard, if it's such a good idea, why don't you go to the private market, get private investors, and get them to put in whatever, $2,000 each. You've got 17,000 signatures, so it's $2,200 each, and get them to put up the money. Why is it that little old ladies, widows, in Pakuranga and Howick, in Mangere and in Manurewa have to pay for this, which they will never use?
It's a good point, Richard, isn't it? According to your own figures, it's $25 a household.
It's $25 a
year
household
for 20 years.
Yeah, it is. It's going to increase rates by about 1%. We're very open about that. We don't have a problem about that.
That's not true either, Richard.
The key thing is,
true either, Richard.
If you can let me have a chat.
Just let him answer briefly. We'll come back to you.
The public really want the project to go ahead, and Dick's been in the community saying that it's going to increase rates 27%. He wrote to the Sunday Herald stating that. And it's absolute nonsense. I've had people from Dick's electorate coming into my office and going, we love the project, but we can't afford $400 a year. Because Dick's been telling them it's going to cost $400 a year.
But the argument, Dick, it's not just about the amount of money, is it? There's a philosophical argument here.
Here's your letter, Dick. Here's your letter to the Sunday Herald stating that it will add 27% to rates with the average rate rise of $400 a year.
OK, Dick, go.
No, look, it's quite clear that the event centre is going to cost, as a one-off payment, will cost $394 as a one-off cost, which will keep the cost down to $40 million. Now, that is a 27% increase. And that is what the fact is. We've gone out to the public, and Rich has gone out to the public with his pro forma submissions, stood outside schools, and told people that they're going, or his troops have told people that they're going into a draw to win a prize. I've been told by my fellow councillors.
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
And so that is what my fellow councillors are telling me. And so, quite frankly, the 17,000 don't cut much ice with me. It is the people in Manukau, some of the poorest people in the country, who are being asked to pay $74.8 million over the next 20 years for something that they will likely never, ever use.
All right, thank you, Dick. Look, I'm really sorry, gentlemen, we are going to have to leave it here. This is obviously a hugely heated debate. We can't, unfortunately, but we will revisit this.
It was the school holidays during the submission process, so how could we be outside schools? That would be a bit silly.
All right, we will revisit this when we get to the next stage, and we'll be very interested to see how it develops. Thank you very much to you both, Dick Quacks and Richard Jeffrey.